Hello there, this is the World News at 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Hezbollah fires rockets into Israel after deadly Beirut strikes. Enugu government makes offer to Finnish authorities over Simon Ekpa. Petrol marketers to reduce fuel price across Nigeria. And Obaseki reacts as Okpewolo moves to probe previous administration. Dismissed Edo police officer threatens suicide. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The World News at 12 begins under foreign scene, with Israel's military saying around 250 missiles have been fired by Hezbollah across the border from Lebanon, marking one of the heaviest bombardments of Israel since fighting intensified in September. Several people were injured and buildings damaged in northern and central Israel, some of them near Tel Aviv. The attacks followed an Israeli airstrikes on central Beirut on Saturday, in which the Lebanese Health Ministry said 29 people were killed. Also on Sunday, Israeli media widely reported that Israel and Lebanon were moving towards a ceasefire agreement to end the fighting with the Iran-backed militia Hezbollah. Following reports of heavy fire from Lebanon, Israel's police said it had received reports of rocket debris falling in the Tel Aviv area. Hezbollah, which has previously vowed to respond to attacks on Beirut by targeting Tel Aviv, said it had launched precision missiles at two military sites in the city and nearby. Later on, the Israeli Defense Forces said it had completed strikes on 12 Hezbollah command centers in Dahir, a stronghold for the group in Beirut's southern suburbs. Back home in Nigeria, the Enugu state government has offered to provide evidence of atrocities allegedly perpetrated in southeast Nigeria by Simon Ekpa. The secretary to the state government, Chidebere Onya, in a statement over the weekend, said the arrest was in line with the demands of Governor Peter Mbah-led administration to Finnish authorities. You will recall that Simon Ekpa, the self-acclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, was arrested alongside four others last Thursday on suspicion over terrorist activities. The Finnish police said Ekpa had contributed to violence and crimes against civilians in southeastern Nigeria. The SSG said the state government believes Simon Ekpa is a common criminal, a conman, and terrorist who has no interest of Igbo people at heart. He also noted that the Ekpa's arrest and trial will go a long way in strengthening peace, security, and stability in parts of the southeast. Meanwhile, legal experts have said individuals donating funds to Simon Ekpa can be charged with terrorism. Despite the detention of the separatist leader by the Finnish police, some members of his group have continued to persuade people to donate money. In another development, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, have welcomed the reduction in the price for purchasing petroleum product from the Dangote refinery, highlighting its significance in a competitive market. You will recall that Dangote Petroleum Refinery had on Sunday announced a reduction in the price of petrol to 970 naira per litre for oil marketers. The new price marks a 20 naira decrease from the refinery's earlier ex-depot price of 990 naira per litre introduced earlier this month. The refinery explained that the adjustment is a way of expressing gratitude to the government for their support as it aligns with efforts to encourage domestic enterprise for the collective good of the nation. Reacting, IPMAN President Shetima Maigandi told journalists that the move by the refinery reflected the evolving dynamics of the industry and showed that they were operating in a competitive market, a positive development for marketers and consumers alike. The IPMAN President assured Nigerians of a slash in petrol price after getting the reduction from the refinery. In the meantime, former Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has reacted to the move by the new administration of Governor Monday Okpebolo to probe the previous administration. Governor Okpebolo on Sunday approved the formation of a 14-member state asset verification committee to investigate his predecessor Obaseki's administration. Members of the committee are scheduled to be sworn in on Tuesday. Reacting, Crusoe Osage, media aide to Obaseki, has described the probe of his principal's administration as a smokescreen to cover the incompetence of the Okpebolo administration. According to Osage, the probe is an attempt to distract from glaring incompetence and lack of direction on the part of the new administration. He emphasized that Obaseki's administration was one of the most transparent, accountable, and prudent governments in the history of Nigeria. He noted that from probing civil servant employment to probing ministries, departments, and agencies, and probing vehicles and other assets of government, amongst others, the new governor has continued to show that he is bereft of ideas and lacks a clear vision for the development of the state. He He also alleged that Governor Okpewolo's plans and diversionary probes and a smokescreen to mask what he called the governor select's incompetence and unpreparedness for office, having come into power through a stolen mandate. In a recent development, a former police officer in Edo State, Inspector Edith Uduma, has threatened to kill herself and her children following her dismissal from the police force after she exposed an alleged rape incident involving a colleague. She accused the state police command of unjustly dismissing her, saying the public had not heard her side of the story. Her dismissal followed a viral video that she captured in October showing one Sergeant Abraham, another officer, in a compromising position with a 17-year-old girl at the police station in the South Ibie area of Edo State. The officer was seen hurriedly wearing his trousers and querying why Edith was making a video recording. The girl was seen lying on a chair in the room, unconscious. VOP News gathered that both officers were later dismissed following an orderly room trial. The Edo State Police Command, in a statement released in November by its public relations officer Moses Yamo, alleged that the dismissed policewoman conspired with her husband, Inspector Ibrahim Mohammed, to extort 1 million naira from Sergeant Abraham and cover up the incident. But when he reportedly offered 45,000 naira instead, the video was leaked online. Her husband was also demoted to the rank of a sergeant. However, the aggrieved policewoman has denied the allegations, insisting that she never extorted money and that she was not given a fair hearing. She also alleged that her dismissal was orchestrated because she lacked influential connections. She has threatened to commit suicide if she doesn't get justice. She further revealed that the force headquarters in Abuja was still investigating the matter, only for the Edo State Command to hurriedly dismiss her. You're currently listening to World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Now joining me for the news analysis segment, I have Mr. Chukwuma Okoro. He's a revered journalist as well as a political, social and national affairs analyst. Welcome to World News at 12 and thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Chairman. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Let us begin with the Enugu state government saying it has making an offer to the Finland government over Simon Ekpa. They've told the Finnish authorities that we will furnish you with any evidence that you need of the atrocities that Ekpa has committed in the southeast. In fact, they said Simon Ekpa has contributed to the violence and crimes against civilians in southeast Nigeria. They went ahead to label him a common criminal, a conman and a terrorist who has no interest of Igbo people at heart. Would you say this is a good development? Simon Ekpa has been in the news right from his arrest on Thursday. You do know that he calls himself on social media the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic government in exile. But when he went to court and he was asked, he said he's just an ordinary IPOB member and he denied being the Prime Minister. Would you say other governors of the Southeast should follow the example of Governor Peter Amba and also furnish the Finland authorities or the Nigerian authorities if he's extradited with evidence?
Okay, Chama, the thing is that we understand that Simon Ekpa has been trending since he was arrested. I think that was on Thursday, either Thursday or Friday. And we've had several Nigerians, many Nigerians comment on that. A couple of people said that, look, the arrest and subsequent detention of Simon Ekpa in Finland, it's going to kind of bring about a toll, in the insecurity in the southeast. Some people also believe that, look, it's going to exacerbate the level of insecurity in the southeast, being the fact that some would argue you cannot keep both Nnamdi and Khan and Simon Ekpa in detention at the same time. To them, it's more like a no-go area. You don't have to do that. So some believe that in that direction, it's going to cause more insecurity in the southeast, especially with regard to the enforcement of the sit-at-home order. Now, that said, the Enugu state governor is a lawyer by training. I understand that he understands the finer points of the law. For him to say, look, Finnish government, we have information, to give you, for you to understand the level of violence this young man has orchestrated down here in the southeast. Now, the question would be, did the Finnish government ask for information? Is it that they don't have information? We have the High Commission, we have the embassy of Finland here in Nigeria. Is it that they don't have that kind of information? And who is also who is processing the extradition? We understand that Nigeria and Finland do not have extradition treaty, but Nigeria is relying on the treaty of the EU, to say that, look, we can work with the EU to bring back Simon Ekpa. But you can't do that, because if you have a situation where the EU treaty and the Finland treaty, that there's some kind of conflict, certainly the president, the the constitution of the country of Finland takes precedence. So some people have said, how easy will it be for the Nigerian government to extradite Nnamdi Kanu? So if Tamba is saying we have information, what is it going to do with that information? Is Finland asking for information? Because these are the things we have to consider. I understand that Peter Mba has been very vocal, against what he believes that Simon Ekpa has been doing in the Southeast.
What he believes?
He's been very outspoken. Yes.
On what he believes that Simon Ekpa has been doing.
Yes.
When you say believes, you make it sound like Simon Ekpa has been accused of something that he has not done.
No, because there are people who believe that no, Simon is not the one behind this. Some people believe that look, it's the unknown government, it's the federal government that is behind this. So Mbab is now saying, look, I have information to give you to clearly show that Simon Ekpa has been causing violence in the Southeast. But I ask, is he giving the information to the Finnish government for what extent? Or has he given the same information to the Attorney General of the Federation? And we begin to ask, who is processing the extradition? Is it the Nigerian military? Or is it the Ministry of Justice? Or is it the Nigerian embassy in Finland? There seems to be some kind of disconnect between these three people that are not working in synergy. We don't even know who to listen to. Should we listen to Nigerian Army, to the Chief of Defense Staff? Should we listen to the Nigerian ambassador in Finland? Or should we listen to the Attorney General of the Federation, who is processing that extradition? We don't know. So if Mba says, I have information to give to Finland, is Finland asking for information?
There are certain people who do not even want him to be extradited because they believe that the Finnish authorities would actually handle his case better than the Nigerian authorities.
Exactly the point I made when I said that some people, that Mba believes. So that goes to show you that some people also don't believe in what Mba is saying about Simon Ekpa.
All right. Legal experts are saying that the individuals who are donating funds to Simon Ekpa can be charged with terrorism. You know that he does host fundraisers on his social media X account, formerly called Twitter. But despite his detention, some members of his group have continued to persuade people to continue donating money to what they call the cause. Now, in a video posted on X, formerly called Twitter, with the caption, Biafra Freedom, vote, donate and support BRGIE. That's Biafra Republic Government in Exile, of which Simon Ekpa claims to be the Prime Minister, by the purported Minister of Information of the group, who called with the handle at Akbarawa Sunny on Saturday. A woman who identified herself as Ada Biafra in a live video said Ekpa will be back by next week. And she explained that, I'm going to quote her verbatim, a flyer is there for our supporters, a flyer that contains the information about the donation. We are buying granules, that's bullets, for the gallant men, because no granite that goes out comes back in. We need to refill. We've had people from the diaspora sending in their donations, sending in money, and even people in Nigeria sending in their widow's mite in order to help Simon Ekpa fight those he believes are the enemies of the Southeast. And yet what we've seen are wanton destruction, loss of lives and bloodshed. All of these people, would you expect that the Nigerian authorities will also fish out those in Nigeria who are supporting and donating money to his cause, while also urging diaspora governments of Nigeria in the diaspora in any countries that they may be in to also do the same, because these are activities that are carried out brazenly on social media, not hidden.
You see, Choma, unfortunately, that is the way struggles go. I said, unfortunately, that is the way struggles go. You see, a struggle is not a tea party. Like my colleague Peter Anosike always said, as politics is not a meeting of Omonna. Politics is about struggle, so the self-determination is a struggle. And within the prism of self-determination, the people that are involved believe that all is fair and good, so long as to them the end justifies the means. And so you begin to understand why some people will go out of their way to say, look, even in the midst of the Finnish government saying that, look, certain number of people have been arrested for financing terrorism, people are going ahead to say, look, we are still going to fund these activities, because to them, that is the route they want to use in getting independence. If every other avenue has been closed out to people, that is what you get. When all means of peaceful resolution of conflicts, of disagreements, of issues are closed out, people will naturally resort to some kind of violence, as we see now. It starts from, in some cases, it's non-violence. In some places, it's boycott. In some places, it gets to sabotage. In some places, it gets to guerrilla warfare. Mind you, the UN Charter and AU Charter also recognize the right of people to self-determination. So within that prism, you find that it is very difficult to situate it within the provisions of legality. What is legal? To them is warfare. And we also understand that some people have said in warfare, all is good and fair, so long as the end justifies the means. So if people continuously want to donate to a cause that they believe in, you have to find it within the provisions of the law to see how to deal with those people. Now, that said, Choma, wouldn't it be better that the federal government responds to these issues by saying, okay, what is at stake? What is the grievance? You are aggrieved, and so this other person is aggrieved. The other people are aggrieved. Why don't we come to the round table and discuss the issues around these grievances so that we can settle them? Look, a certain philosopher said, Choma, you have not converted a man if you merely silenced him. So the moment you try to silence people, people will always react. See, this thing, the thing about self-determination, the thing about struggle for self-determination, it's fundamental to people's existence. It's not accidental. It's fundamental because to them, it speaks to their being, their livelihood, the essence of their humanity. So when you try to close those avenues, with which they can express themselves in form of formal dialogue, in a round table, in a referendum, people will naturally be forced to go the other way. And so I keep saying that it is difficult to find all these things within the prism, within the purview of legalism. So it becomes what you think and what I think. So who is right? It becomes objective and subjective at different instances. Depends on who is looking at it.
Mr. Okoro, while we're discussing all of this and speaking all of this, what people would call grammar, when they want to say, oh, you're just speaking grammar. Okay. We cannot deny that there has been bloodshed in the East.
What is the cause of the bloodshed?
We cannot deny that when you go on social media and go on Simon Ekpa's X account, you will see where he keeps stalking people, where he keeps inciting violence,
inciting
right?
people to do what?
And saying, oh, the forces of Biafra have killed so and so and so, and you see him posting gory videos.
At what point did the killing start? He's inciting people to do what?
All right. What about where they are actually accepting donations to buy bullets and calling them granites? And saying, oh, when bullets goes out, they're not coming back. Where are they getting these weapons? What are they using the weapons for? Where are the bullets going that they're not coming back from?
Choma, you see, the fact of it is that we can continue to live in self-denial. I just said here that this is the way of struggles. How does this start?
So the dead are now just collateral damage and died for nothing, if this is the way of struggle.
Unfortunately, that is what it is. And what brings about struggle? When you close out avenues for peaceful resolution of differences, the people start by non-violence, and when it goes beyond non-violence, sometimes it gets to sabotage, sometimes it goes to guerrilla warfare, sometimes into full-blown wars. This is what it is, not just in Nigeria, in other parts of the world.
In all of this,
in South Sudan, it took place for 40 years. I am not supporting that. But what I'm saying is that, is it not possible for the government to say, look, not just IPOB, OPC, other people, they are kicking. Some parts of the Middle Belt, like Niger Delta, they are kicking. Why don't we come to the round table and say, how do we stop all of this? Does it mean that some people are enjoying what is going on in different parts of the country? If you begin to talk about people killed, how about the grievances? Why don't you attend to those grievances? We should also be looking at that direction.
Whatever Simon Ekpa's grievances, would you say he's going about it the right way?
Which one? What do you mean by the right way?
He's still inciting violence. I just want you to go to his X account and see the kind of thing that he posts.
You don't seem to consider the cause. You only look at the effect. Now look at the cause. Why are people agitating?
Mr. Okoro, you do realize that the effect can actually put a blemish on the cause?
No. It only puts a blemish on the cause if you don't handle the cause very well.
All right. In all of this, how do we know that this man is still maybe in prison in Finland at the moment? What if he is not there? The extradition to Nigeria, do you believe that is something that would work, and is that the best course of action? And also, I want to know, do you think that with the Enugu state government saying they're ready to furnish the Finland authorities with evidence, should the other southeast governors also do the same?
I also say that, look, if the Enugu state government is asking to furnish the Finland, the Finnish government information. The first thing you have to understand is the Finnish government, are they asking for information?
So if they're not asking for information, it should not be volunteered.
No. They wouldn't be asking for information because they didn't arrest him at Mban's prompting. Was it Peter Mba that prompted them to arrest him? They arrested him based on information they have that he's inciting terrorism and violence in the southeast.
All right then, Mr. Okoro, I want to move on from this conversation because of our time. Our time is fast spent.
Let's go ahead.
All right. Petrol marketers are saying the price of fuel across the country will soon reduce because they will be lifting petrol from Dangote refinery at 970 naira per litre instead of 990 naira per litre, with a 20 naira decrease in price. I just want to remind you that if you have a 20 naira note, there are very few things, almost nothing you can use it to buy in Nigeria at this moment. So if Dangote is saying, we want to give back to Nigerians and thank them for supporting us to make this refinery come up, and that's why we're giving a 20 naira decrease to Ipman members across the country, and then Ipman is saying, okay, that will reflect on petrol across the country. Would a 20 naira price decrease in petrol price, would it do anything for Nigerians at this moment?
Choma, yes, it will do something to the marketers.
But not for Nigerians?
No, not for the Nigerians.
Because what's the difference between 980 naira and 1,000?
It's 20 naira. You know, why I say...
What can 20 naira buy in today's Nigeria?
No, it's not about what 20 naira can buy. If you have to buy 100 liters of fuel, that's times 20 naira. That's how much?
The people who are buying 5 liters, 2 liters, 3 liters, how would that help them?
No, exactly. So I was coming to that. Why I say that they have done more for the independent marketers is because their business is volume dependent. You know, it depends on volume. If you have to buy 33,000 liters times 20 naira, that's a lot of money for them. And if you have to do 33,000 liters, you know, of the average tanker, if you have to do it like 10 times, that's 330,000 liters. So if you times it by 20 naira, it becomes meaningful to them. But to the average Nigerian, like you said, that buys 5 liters, you know, to move from Oshodi to Apapa, that buys 5 liters to move from Amuward or probably to Ketu or thereabout. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And if you look at did you read the press statement released by Tony Chejina? Tony Chejina said it was more like a Christmas gift to Nigerians. And so we are asking, Tony, after the Christmas, are you going to revert to the old price or what? Or is it going to be a continuous thing? And it brings to question the larger issue of the pump pricing of fuel. At 20 naira discount, Choma, it's still meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to the average Nigerian. I was thinking, when I read the news of when it flies, I was thinking, probably fuel has come down, it's going to come down to like 700 naira a litre, and going forward to 500, 400, and probably to 300. Or where we had it before, 220. But that didn't happen. It was a May 20 naira, which is more like tokenism, trying to make Nigerians happy. Of course, I'm not sure the average Nigerian is happy. The only people that are happy are the independent marketers. Why? Because their businesses are volume driven. Their businesses are volume dependent. So when they use that 20,000 naira times the number of liters of fuel they buy, it becomes meaningful to them because it's going to be a lot of saving to them, not to the average Nigerian.
If the price is not in hundreds, it will not be impacting the average Nigerian in any better way. And you would think that Ipman would know that, but it really doesn't lie on them to reduce the price of petrol to the point that will make Nigerians happy, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't lie on Ipman. It lies on the producers, which is Dangote in this instance, to work with the government. On the morning show on VOP TV this morning, I raised that issue. At what point can we go back to the level of having to buy fuel at probably 250 or 300 naira, considering the global trends, you know? And I asked the question, aren't Nigerians entitled to fuel subsidy? And if we are, is it not possible that, look, if oil is selling at $75 per barrel, why can't you give it to our own at probably $40 so that his own cost of production will also come down? If his cost of production comes down, then we'll be looking at buying fuel at between 200 and 250 naira. But the situation where we sell it at $75 per barrel in the international market, and we give it to him at $75 per barrel to only having converted it to the current exchange rate. So I mean, it doesn't make sense to us. It doesn't make sense because we are still denied that subsidy.
All right, then. We need to go very, very, very soon, Mr. Chukwuma Okoro, but I must thank you for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. Before I do that, maybe would you say that the NNPC should also give Nigerians a Christmas gift?
A Christmas gift
But of at least making sure that the price of petrol comes way down. Let's say we buy fuel at 500 naira for Christmas.
I think, no, it's not a call of NNPC, because NNPC has simply absorbed themselves of, say, look, we have nothing to do with pricing again. The market has been liberalized. We are not the sole obstacle of Dangote fuel and all of that. So it depends on, okay, somehow the NNPCL, since they are the regulators, and the NNPCL has a managing director who reports directly to the president, who is the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Now, with the kind of gift we want to see, we receive from NNPCL is, first of all, for them to tinker with the pricing of crude oil to Dangote. They probably reduce it so that the pump price of fuel can go back to like between 250, 300, at most 350. That is one. Another Christmas gift that Nigerians demand of NNPCL is accountability, is transparency. You know, they should not remain opaque. At last count, sometimes we hear we have made so much profit, we are indebted to this, we are indebted to that. We don't want to hear all of those things. We want a clean, transparent NNPCL. That is the best Christmas gift that we can receive from NNPCL, including a reduction in the pump price of fuel, working in concert with the president, who is the Minister of Petroleum Resources, and the Dangote refinery, that is more like the only surviving refinery in Nigeria here. We always hear about Walter Smith and all of those people, other refineries, modular refineries in Edo. But we don't talk about them. How much do they receive? How much are they selling? We just concentrate on Dangote. So between Dangote, NNPCL, and the presidency, the Christmas gift Nigerians receive is not just accountability and transparency, but a drastic reduction in the pump price of fuel.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chukwumakoro, for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. Our time seems really short today. Did you notice that?
Maybe because the most is gradually coasting to an end.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Choma.
All right.
My
As much
pleasure
as we
any
want
day.
to continue, the World News at 12 has to come to an end. And just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the Hezbollah has fired rockets into Israel after that the Beirut strikes. Enugu government makes offer to Finnish authorities over Simon Ekpa petrol marketers to reduce fuel prices across Nigeria. Obaseki reacts as Okpala moves to probe previous administration and dismiss a police officer threatens suicide. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.